we almost got killed. I know that sounds very dramatic. I'll let you know later on in the video what exactly happened. We just came back from a trip to Calgary, northern Alberta, Edmonton, and we were gone a couple of weeks. That's why this video's late coming out, because when we got home after all the trauma, I was, well, one night 12 hours, the next night 12 hours. So you guys with cancer, you know how it is. But I have to tell you, cancer can slow you down. It really can. It can change the way you're living your life, there's no doubt. But I tell you what, it's not going to stop me. Hi, I'm Denise, and this is Travels in My Chair. And we finally, after 2 years, got to travel. White lightning our motorhome. Trip to the mechanic, everything's good. He's running well, which is, if you followed any of my previous videos, is a miracle. Gas is anywhere from $2.29 a liter. In Alberta, I think it got down to $1.77 a liter. Less RVs on the road, lots of pipeline work on the Trans-Canada Highway. We're in Valemount. We look at the gas stations. None of the 2 gas stations in Valemount have prices on them of how much per liter, right? Alan says, well, they don't want to tell you because they don't want to see you cry. 2 days to get to Calgary. And it was too much driving for me. Thank you to the 2 ladies that recommended I get a donut. Isla said, Grandma, what's that on the seat of the van? I said, oh, it's a donut, Isla. She goes, oh, like if we go to Tim Hortons too and get sprinkles? No, it worked pretty good. The campgrounds right now are not filled with recreational vehicles. They're filled with workers. All along the Trans-Canada Highway, even coming back through Jasper, pipelines. So this pipeline, I'm thinking, because it's coming from up north and I think it's heading into Vancouver, I don't know for sure. So if anybody of you know for sure, please comment, because I'm a little bit of an ignoramus. It could be oil, it could be gas. There's hundreds and hundreds of workers. And I felt sorry for them at the camp. They're probably missing their families. They're living in trailers. They come home from a hard day of work. And I mean, you know, pretty grueling, long hours, working weekends, and then passing out at night, getting up first thing in the morning. Kudos to you workers. And kudos to your family that's waiting for you in the sidelines somewhere. Or even worse, that are with you, because I saw so many children just wandering campgrounds, knowing nobody, nothing to do. It was sad. Middle of June, snow on the mountains. Beautiful. Rogers Pass. To talk about Roxie, our little shaved puppy. I think this trip for her was a turning point in her life, because she got to meet 100 dogs in every campground, every rest area that we stopped at. And we would stop every hour to hour and a half, because she is turning out to be not the greatest of traveler when you get up to 100 kilometers an hour. So if you're driving in the city or you're driving under 80, she'll be on the pillow on my knee or even in her crate and she'll be fine. As soon as you get up to over 100 kilometers an hour, she starts shaking and panting. And so therefore, until we can figure out if this is a temporary situation, we have to stop and let her out. And apart from the shaking, she took to the traveling really well. She'd curl up with us in our tiny little bed, which is only 48 inches wide, which is a joke. One night, I think she slept on top of my head. Another night, she tried to do the same with Alan. And one night when it was cold, she tried to tuck in under the cover and get under his armpit. That was pretty funny. So I've got some shots of the mountains, the Rockies, the countryside. I am so glad we live in Canada. It is the most beautiful scenery. And of course, I couldn't film it all. Our windows on the van were too dirty. But you know what, guys? It's stunning. And because we've had cooler weather, everything is green and lush and coming up. My flowers, when I got home, I went, wow, what the heck happened to you guys? You look amazing. I'll insert some pictures because, you know, gotta do it. Park in Calgary. Paddle, kayak, pathways, playground for the kids, picnic area, beautiful park. That is one blue tongue. She could have a blue tongue show. What is that?
It's a Sonic Hedgehog. Sonic Hedgehog. Popsicle.
Let's see. Eva, what she got?
A snow cone.
A snow cone. Wow. What's Angela got?
Strawberry.
Strawberry. And what's Daddy got? Nothing.
Strawberry.
What's Auntie Heather got? Nothing. What's Maeve got? Snow cone. Elijah, what do you got?
Blue. Bubble gum.
Oh, bubble gum. And a ball that the dog is waiting patiently to play with. So first stop, Calgary, to see all of Alan's relatives, his sisters, brother. We went to Bowness Park and had a wonderful picnic. Got to see Alan's brother, who we haven't really seen for like 3 years. Then we headed to Edmonton, where we stayed White Mud Park on the river, right in town, Rainbow Valley Campground. It is, if you're in Edmonton and you are in an RV, you have to book ahead, but it was a great place to stay. There's also a huge climbing device that it's like rock climbing with harnesses and stuff, and that brings in a lot of people. But quiet. Well, Rainbow Valley Campground at Edmonton. So we got to see my daughter Heather and Ian and Maeve and David, and we got to celebrate Angela's birthday and Heather's birthday a little bit early, but it was so fun and the weather held out pretty much. After 2 days in Edmonton, it was time to leave and go to Drayton Valley. Drayton Valley has suffered its ups and downs, lots of downs. With the oil and gas industry died and the hotels were empty. I think one of the hotels is now a nursing home. The trucks all disappeared. Things were very grim. Those foreclosures, we saw it firsthand because we saw it at the boom, and then we went back, of course, because we made friends. And a long time ago I made a video about the friends that we met in Drayton Valley, who've been our friends ever since. And we stopped for 2 days to see them. We're at the doggy park in Drayton Valley. And I'm gonna do some running around a little bit with throwing a ball. Get rid of some of that energy she's had building up. Then we headed out and we decided to go more the northern route, so like Hinton, Jasper. It's such a beautiful road and such beautiful scenery, and of course, you know, pipe work happening. I mean, it's happening everywhere, so if you're traveling in Western Canada this year, just be aware. Whatever you think it's going to take to get somewhere, it's going to take way longer. I forgot to mention, when we were driving to Calgary and we'd gotten to Golden, our ABS light came on our vehicle, and we had just had that fixed last year. It was a tricky fix, I have to say. I have to tell you, white lightning, whether it sits because of COVID or drives, can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a year, not including insurance. What can you do? He's one of a kind. I need a van with a lift. He's our home on wheels, and our whole time away we never stayed away from him. However, going through Golden, his brakes were feeling a bit mushy, and Alan pulled over and checked the brake fluid, and it was fine. So we drove on a little further and brakes were fine again. So on we went to Calgary and stopped at Hinton, camped at Hinton. We camped in Clearwater, and then we camped in Hope. So instead of trying to make that trip home so quickly, we tried to spread it out over 3 days, and frankly that was good, because we realized with Roxie, if we can go 3 hours, that's good. And with me, with my tailbone and my back, 3 hours is good too. With or without the donut, I have to tell you, I am so happy when I'm finally in bed and I can lay on my side, have the quilt rolled up and tucked in behind me. A couple of times I wanted to sleep, and one day, maybe 2 days, I went and had like a 2-hour nap, because you remember with COVID, we've been leading a pretty quiet life. And now all of a sudden we're with people 24/7 and entertaining. And it was fun, but it was also really tiring. Mount Robson, we're in British Columbia. We think this might be the highest mountain in BC and maybe possibly in Canada. We get through Hope, we're driving along the highway, and we get to Second Narrows Bridge. Brakes are mushy. I said, well, stay far behind the vehicle in front of you, and I said, as soon as we get back home, it's going in and getting checked out. He goes, oh, definitely. We're going along, and I nodded off, as I normally do in the van, and something just jerked me awake. And there he was. We were on the Second Narrows Bridge heading into North Vancouver, and he was literally standing on the brake. I mean, he was up out of his seat. Was standing on the brake and working the emergency brake to slow the vehicle down. Okay, Denise, this is not a time to panic, but I felt like panicking. We had no brakes. None. So the first exit off the bridge was Main Street, North Vancouver. I have to also tell you about white lightning. Every year something happens. We just count on it. If we're going somewhere, we just know either our water tank's going to fall out of the van, or the brakes are going to go, or in one case a computer went. We spent 3 weeks with Ken and Rosie in Drayton Valley. There's always something. and it's always expensive. But at the end of the day, something good always happens. I can't explain it. We meet nice people, we're treated wonderfully. Stop on a little side street, and at the left I had seen like a lube, quick lube and brake place kind of tucked off to the side. And then right where we pulled over and managed to stop, and there was a parts shop. So he said, I'm going to check the brake fluid and get some brake fluid for it. So off he went to the parts shop and he got some brake fluid. Brake fluid was empty. Put in a bunch of brake fluid, and I said, oh my God, Alan, I just thought of something horrible. The brakes were getting mushy, but they were brakes, right? He goes, oh yeah. And I said, if they hadn't gone on that bridge, the next place we would have been heading was to Horseshoe Bay, to the ferry, and then we would go up a steep hill to get into North Vancouver, and then down a steep hill to get into Horseshoe Bay, and we wouldn't have had brakes. I'm not gonna cry beyond that. Okay, gang, we might have been saved. Alan put in a bunch of brake fluid, and it didn't do any good. The brakes were still right to the floor. He went across the street. The brake guy's shop is full. He said, no, can't do anything. Alan went to the back of the camper van and he looked, and the line was totally broken at the back wheel. We drove over here and decided to park in the parking lot, and because I'm not leaving the vehicle unattended in a dodgy area, and I'm not saying this is a bad area, I'm just saying nighttime changes things when you're in an industrial area. I was getting a bit freaked out, I have to tell you. This lovely man came out and said, oh, I can't really do anything till Monday, but okay, you've got no brakes. And he came and looked. You can't stay here over the weekend. Alan said, my wife's in a wheelchair. We really need to get back to Gibson's. He said, okay, I'll do it in an hour. I'll see you in an hour. So here we sit with a miracle worker. God, there are people out there that really, they have hidden angel wings. Have you ever noticed that? You find them every once in a while. And you go, who are you? But you have angel wings. Somebody always comes to you and saves you when you need to be saved. That's how I feel right now. Not emotional, but I'm very happy. He came and got the vehicle. Our angel without wings pulled 2 guys off other jobs. No, your rear brake cylinder's gone. Everything's rusty. Well, you know, the van's 20 years old. Everything's rusty underneath. But I wasn't going to go in. I wasn't going to bother them. No way. They were doing their job, and they were frustrated because they were all supposed to go home at 4 o'clock, and they were all staying. I've never seen 3 guys working so hard to get one vehicle repaired, and finally, when I have to admit, I was pretty much done. My legs were freezing. I didn't think I'd be able to stand up on them anyway to get into when we got into the van, to get into the seat. I was hungry. The dog had had more walks. She was frustrated. Alan was frustrated. I mean, it was bad. It was bad, but at the same time, we're thankful that those brakes had failed when they failed. Now, I know that's kind of a weird way of looking at stuff, but that's how we've always looked at things with White Lightning, because that's how it's always been. Something that's turned out ugly, that could have been death, in the end, turns out okay, in a weird way. They pulled the van out, and they apologized, and Alan goes, oh, I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so much for everything that you've done. And he gave them each a tip, which they were reluctant to take, and Alan goes, no, you guys. And I was so happy we had him, and I was so happy his brakes didn't, oh my God. When we started driving to Horseshoe Bay, and we started going down that hill, I could feel myself tensing up, because I know that we were that close to not making this video. Now, I know a lot of people often will pray to ask for stuff. Please make me well. Please make my children be okay. Please save my life when I might die going down the hill. But I didn't do that. I prayed in thanks for those 3 wonderful guys that were there, because if they hadn't been there and they hadn't agreed and taken pity on us, I really absolutely don't know what we would have done, because we couldn't go anywhere. I prayed and said, thank you for saving us. Thank you. Got home after 10 o'clock that night. I said, tell him, please don't unload anything out of the motorhome. I need to go to bed. I'm done. I am totally so done. My legs are freezing. I've got this interior pain going on. I need to sleep. And Roxie said, yeah, me too. So we slept. Boy, did we sleep. And we had a good time away, but I have to be honest, getting away was what we needed to be able to just shake off the stress of the last couple of months. We got to see all our family. It was wonderful because, you know, everyone's having their health issues, really. We're not the only one. We got to see our beautiful country, and we got to see the snow on the mountains, which usually by now it's beginning to dissipate, you know. The weather's getting hotter, what can I say? You know, I'm here. Thank God, I'm here. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.